Hi guys, Rob Swanson here, and in this action plan, I'm going to show you how to do something that most real estate investors don't do and probably never even considered. I'm going to show you how to get big profits from little houses. This is an overlooked one-bedroom house gold mine once you understand what you're doing, what you're looking for, and how it works. And I'm going to take you step by step through it. Now, the reason I want to do this is because over my years as a real estate investor, one-bedroom houses have made me a lot of money. And it's all because I think differently than most investors. I think, you hear it all the time, zig when other people zag. Well, I constantly try to do that. I constantly try to think, what is everybody ignoring? Where's the opportunity? How can I create profit in that? And so this one-bedroom house strategy is that. I thought differently. See, most real estate investors and most wholesalers, rehabbers, landlords, wholesalers, spend most of their time, effort, money, energy trying to find the perfect 3-bedroom, 2-bath house at a significant discount. You buy a list, you make offers, you search the MLS, and you limit your search criteria to 3-bedroom, 2-bath houses because that's what other investors want. If you're a wholesaler, that's what buyers want. If you're a rehabber, that's what tenants want. If you're a landlord. And so you focus on the end result in the beginning. Okay. Now I'm going to bring this all full circle and you're going to understand where I'm headed in just a minute. Now, a few spend their time searching for 2-bedroom houses. The number that do that is less, but yet there's a few people that spend their time searching for 2-bedroom houses. Nearly everyone ignores searching for 1-bedroom houses. And in fact, if a lead comes in or if you see a 1-bedroom house in the MLS, most real estate investors completely discount it. They blow it off. And I'm here to argue and to tell you, based on the amount of money I've made thinking differently, that's a huge mistake. To get there and for you to understand it, I want you to understand the basics of a 1-bedroom house. And you're going to see why this matters in just a minute. The first thing I want you to understand is the configuration. Most 1-bedroom houses are tiny. They're 1-bedroom, 1-bath. And they usually range in square foot, most 1-bedroom houses, between 500 and maybe around 700 square feet. They're so small that you usually can't add a second bedroom or another bathroom because there just isn't enough room. So what you're stuck with is a 1-bedroom, 1-bath house. And that's all you're going to get out of it. They're just tiny houses. Now, the demand for these little houses, 1-bedroom houses, and the number of buyers and the number of tenants looking for 1-bedroom houses is much smaller than 2 bedrooms and much, much smaller than 3 bedrooms, which is why most investors overlook the opportunity. But here's where I want you to start making a little bridge in your thinking. The price of a 1-bedroom house is usually much lower than the price compared to a 2 or 3-bedroom house. So there's a big gap. What this means is there's a gap between the price of a 1-bedroom, which is significantly low to start, and the price of a 2 and 3-bedroom house, which is significantly higher right out the gates. Now, the perceived value of a 1-bedroom house in the mind of the seller is also usually much lower. And that's a good thing because you're not trying to beat a seller up on price because their perception of the price is already fairly low. Now, here's what I mean. And I'm going to use the words price and the words value in this conversation. And up until now, I've been talking about the price. When I talk about the price is what you pay and the value is what you buy. So let's look at this in context of the value of a house. And you can see that the value of a 3-bedroom house is significantly greater than the value of a 1-bedroom house. And the gap between the two is where we're going to make our profit. Now, let me show you how most real estate investors approach this. If you know the value of a 1-bedroom house, let's just say that it's $70,000. Most real estate investors are going to come in and they're going to run their math and they're going to say, let me subtract the cost of the fix-up, and then let me run my math and come up with my maximum allowable offer. And so it's going to be some price significantly less than the value of the house itself. The same thing happens on the 3-bedroom houses. You look at the value, you subtract the cost of the fix-up, and you make an adjustment, and you come up with your maximum allowable offer. In both cases, you can see here that the maximum allowable offer is significantly greater. It's about 50 cents on the dollar, roughly, of what the value of the house is. So you have to make an offer at a significant discount in order to get your price accepted. I'm going to bring this full circle and show you how this plays in and helps you. The real opportunity lies in the gap between the market price of a 1-bedroom house and the market price of a 3-bedroom house. Here's why. When you find the right 1-bedroom house, the fix-up or rehab cost to go from a 1-bedroom house to a 3-bedroom house is almost identical as the fix-up cost to just rehab a 3-bedroom house to begin with. Let me say that again. The rehab cost to go from a 1-bedroom house to a 3-bedroom to improve the property is almost identical to just rehabbing a 3-bedroom house to begin with. It costs nearly the same. And now how do I know this? Because I've rehabbed hundreds of houses. So I know exactly what costs go into this. Now I'm going to show you in another video exactly where these cost differentials are and why they're nearly the same. But for now, just go with the fact that going from a 1-bedroom to 3 is nearly identical as rehabbing a 3-bedroom house to begin with. So as a real estate investor, you can either buy your profit at a discount, which is what most people try to do, meaning they find a house, they get a lead, and they make an offer at a significant discount, and they hope that the offer gets accepted. Or you can create your profit by using what I just showed you, this price gap, and I'll show you how. Before I show you how, I need you to understand that it's about finding the right houses, okay? It's not about just any old 1-bedroom house. Here's my number one criteria why this strategy works. You want to find 1-bedroom houses that have 1,000 square foot or greater. And in one of the additional videos in this action plan, I'm going to show you how to do that. Now remember, most 1-bedroom houses are smaller. They're between 500 and 700 square feet. And most 3-bedroom houses start at about 1,000 square feet. So you'll get a lot of 3-bedroom houses might be 1,000 or 1,050 or 1,100 square feet, but they're a little bit bigger than 1,000 square feet. If you can find a 1-bedroom house that has 1,000 square feet of space, it's very easy to convert that 1-bedroom house into a 3-bedroom house. So by finding 1-bedroom houses with 1,000 square feet or more, you can easily convert and improve the property from a 1-bedroom to a 3. So let's bring this overview and the strategy all together. Here's the gap that we talked about. The value of a 1-bedroom house right out the gates is significantly lower in the mind of the market, the seller, the buyer, everybody, than a 3-bedroom house. Most real estate investors approach that they would have to buy that 1-bedroom house at pennies on the dollar, just like they would approach having to buy a 3-bedroom house at pennies on the dollar. The difference is we're going to create the profit, create the value by going from a 1-bedroom to a 3-bedroom rather than just improving the condition. So we're not going to just improve the condition, we're going to improve the configuration of the property itself. So here's what you do. Look at over here on the 3-bedroom house. When I take my maximum allowable offer and then I add my fix-up costs, and then I add my costs of sale and other associated costs, I end up with my profit. Okay, that's my maximum allowable offer, that's my purchase price, plus my fix-up costs, plus my cost of sale and other associated costs, and what's left over is my profit. Now I want to show you that on a one-bedroom house, watch this. You can pay nearly full price, if not full price, for a one-bedroom house and make more money. So here's how it works. On top of the purchase price that you pay for the one-bedroom house, you can pay the full value. Give the seller the full price. Add the fix-up costs on top of that. And now look, the fix-up costs to go from a one-bedroom to a 3 versus just rehabbing a 3 are nearly the same. You add your cost of sale on top of that, and here's what you end up with. You end up with a larger profit by buying a one-bedroom house and converting it into a 3-bedroom house than you do by just buying a 3-bedroom house at a discount in the first place. You can oftentimes make bigger profits by paying full price for a one-bedroom house than by getting a discount on a 3-bed. This is a strategy that most real estate investors completely overlook. They just don't understand how it works. But it has been such a profitable strategy for me that I want you to see it. So in the rest of this action plan, I'm going to show you how to go find these one-bedroom houses and put this whole strategy together. So let's go dive in.